Hey, welcome. I'm Gary.
And I'm Vonna.
Hey, that was enthusiastic that I did that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just fired up.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is Sampler Sunday number three.
Mm-hmm.
One, two, three. Yep, number three. And this is a Quaker Sampler Sunday. And boy, Vonna has put in a lot of work to get this one together. As we've said in a couple of shows recently, I think even Wednesday, we've had several of the designers send us actual charts so we can show the piece instead of a printout. And then we have several that come from Europe, and of course, not practical to send those over here, postage, time, everything else. So Jacob and Long Dog Samplers were the two that contributed, and they were kind enough to send us the PDF files so we could print those out and have all the specs and everything. And yeah, having it, having um, a sheet, just a printout from the internet is one thing, but having the whole deal like these here, and then being able to see what's on the back, see the stitch count and the threads and what the specs are, will help us a lot. So really appreciate everybody who contributed to that to make this possible. And we had a nice little stack here of stuff. So we got Quaker samplers of all kinds today. And Vonna also has done some research. So those who don't know about Quaker samplers, you're going to learn because Vaughn has done some research and put together information so we get a sense of what these Quaker samplers are. What do we mean by Quaker sampler? Because until fairly recently, to me, a Quaker sampler was just the ones with the medallions all over the place and letters.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Mm-hmm.
not all of them.
Mm-mm.
That's
Mm-mm.
one type.
Mm-hmm.
There's what, four types, I think.
Yes.
So so that I learned that, and that's opened my eyes a little bit. So Vonna going to give us a little history. We'll talk about a little history, and then we'll get into the actual samplers that we've selected. These are the ones that we've selected to feature on the show, and most of these designers have several more, and we'll mention that along the way. But these are the ones that we've selected to show you. And because we've selected them, these are the ones that are qualified, that qualify for the discount at Sassy Jack's, because Sassy Jack's sponsoring the show. So what we have there is if you go to Kim, and she will set up a thing on her website. I don't count on it being there today. I hope she'll have it today, but on Sunday. But it might take her a couple of days. But she will have something set up so that you can order. And uh, it's fiber 15 is the code word that we use, and that gets you 15% off if you buy the kit. So if you buy the chart, threads, and ground cloth as a kit, then you get 15% off. If you own the chart or Kim doesn't have it, you can get the threads and the ground cloth for 15% off. So either way, so say, hey, I've got the chart. I want the kit. So you call Kim and you get the ground cloth and the threads for 15% off. You got to say, hey, I got to have that. I want the whole deal. Then you go to Kim, give me chart, threads, ground cloth, and you get 15% off. Very
Mm-hmm.
generous of her. But now we have to be clear because there was confusion on the first one. It's just the ones that we talk about on this show, just the ones that we show you and talk about, not all of them. Like we'll mention some others that somebody might have in their line that might be of interest, but it's just the ones that we talk about here. And then there will be a list on the WeTalkFiber.com page for this show. There will be a list of the ones that qualify, and there will be a list down below on the YouTube video for the ones that qualify. No other ones do. You can't go there and say, hey, I want Quaker Sampler ABC from Joe Schmo and get 15% if it's not on the list. Not happening.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So just want that real clear so we don't have any confusion. And that is good all the way through December 31. So this is going up on what, the 6th? What is Sunday? I don't even know.
The eighth.
8th. So it's going up December 8th. So you have between December 8 and December 31 to get 15% off on the full kit or the thread and ground cloth kit for these Quaker samplers. So this whole thing is just Quaker samplers that we've selected um, from designers we like and samplers that people who have really good collections. And so there, with that preface, tell us about Quaker samplers.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to define in my mind is what are Quakers? Who are Quakers? So the Quaker movement, or the Quaker as a group, the Quakers as a group, are defined as the religious society of friends. They also call themselves, like to each other, they would call themselves friends. So like if I was a Quaker and Gary was a Quaker, I would call him Friend Gary. And that's, so they call themselves a religious society of friends. It was founded in England by George Fox. He and some other early Quakers, or friends as they call each other, were persecuted by their beliefs. And this included, why were they persecuted? It was because they believed that the idea of God was contained within each and every person. So the presence of God exists in each and every person. The Quakers reject elaborate religious ceremonies. They don't have official clergymen. They believe in spiritual equality between men and women, or for men and women. Quaker missionaries first arrived in the Americas in the mid 1650s. This will be noted when we start talking about the history of the schools. Quakers also practice pacifism, and which played a key role in the abolitionist and women's rights movements across America, particularly. Quakers believed in this inner light of God, and they were known for simplicity and inner reflection, and they wanted to have a place for their children. They didn't want like outside people like infiltrating the minds of their children, and so they founded schools. Acworth and Westtown are the most well-known schools. Acworth is in Yorkshire, England, and Westtown is in Pennsylvania. Both schools have extensive collections of samplers in their possession that attest to the fine needlework that were produced within their walls. The best known Quaker school, of course, and I'm certain that most people that know anything about Quakers would know this, is the Acworth School. The Acworth School was in Yorkshire, England, and was established in 1779 by John Fothergill on behalf of the Religious Society of Friends. One of the things, if you ask a person, what is a Quaker sampler, they'll say exactly what you said, Gary. It's the octagonal or circular medallions, like this one, which shows the octagon and the flora and fauna and the, very Roman in nature alphabet. This was actually produced from the Acworth School. This one, it's Phila-Lucas, but it's not a reproduction. It's just in a private collection. While their contemporaries were stitching alphabets and verses and pastoral scenes of English life, the girls at Acworth School were stitching stylized circular and hexagonal medallions that were believed to be, they don't know this for a fact, but they believe that these hexagonal medallions came from a watch fob that many of the boys and girls carried to protect against like corrosion, that they had an octagonal like frame on there, and they believe that that's why the girls started stitching hexagons. Let's see. The hexagon and medallion samplers doesn't have to, but they can include both flora and fauna and animals and birds, small animals and birds, along with initials. Their initials may be their family initials or just friends from like from their boarding school friends. Let's see. The Acworth School is also where the place of the Medallion Samplers originated, and that soon infiltrated all the other Quaker schools throughout the world, because it wasn't just England and the United States, as we'll see later, that where the Quaker boarding schools were. They were actual boarding schools where the Quaker families sent their children for a period of time every year for schooling. It wasn't just like they went there and then went home. They actually stayed there. Let's see.
Yeah, where did I read somewhere that some kids would travel as much as 14 miles by horseback just to go to school at a Quaker school? Yeah.
Yeah. So they did actually
wonder how many. I wonder how many the horse veered off. You know, fishing pole and horse went somewhere else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One of the highly prized books, and it's out of print, and if you look on eBay, it goes for like $500 or $600, is a book by Carol Humphrey that catalogs and discusses the many intricacies of the samplers. It basically catalogs the Acworth school samplers that they hold in their possession. Acworth School is still in existence today and still has, classes and children that go to boarding school there. So that's important to note. Yeah, it's still going. It's kind of important to note, I read this on their website, that maybe only 10 to 25% of the school population are actually Quakers. So, but it's still Quaker, like fundamentals and belief systems and stuff that rule the school. Okay, the second most well-known Quaker school is Westtown School. It's in Westchester, Pennsylvania. It was founded by the Philadelphia Religious Society of Friends in 1799. So you see 1779, Acworth was founded in 1799. So just 20 years later, Westtown was founded. This school is also very rich in needlework history. The school and the Westchester Historical Society have over 140 original Quaker samplers in their possession. Some of them were made by the students that were living there. Some were made by students that did not live in the school but traveled there for school. And some were just Quakers from the surrounding area but did not go to school at all there, but were in the surrounding area. Westtown School is known for their silk embroidered globes and also for embroidered pictures of the school. And this is interesting because these two items are only seen at Westtown. This is, of course, the globe, and this is the school pictures. Advanced girls that were advanced in the needle arts were allowed to do this. The globe is made out of silk, and then some of the you can kind of see some of the drawings on there is actually paint that they painted on there.
Hold that up. That's really neat. Wow. I wonder what they used for a form. Do you know?
It was just stuffed with sawdust, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this, of course, is a picture of the facade of the school.
Yeah.
And what's important to note about these is that this was 1804. The school, ruling board decided that this was against Quaker belief because it was too pretty, I guess. It wasn't simple. And so they overruled that. So they only had 4 years where these were actually made. So because it was just such a short period of time, there's not very many of these left. But these are both it's in the Westtown School archives or collection of their needlework samplers, and they actually go on display, I don't know all the time or if sometimes, with the Westchester Historical Society in Pennsylvania. So not very many of these exist. And there's also some globes that are not of the earth, but are of the heavens. So like it has
Wow.
stars and stuff instead of the globe. So interesting. Okay. There's a book that's still in print that is very useful, and both Barbara Hudson told me about this book. I've read about the book in my research, and also Ellen Chester of With My Needle fame also told me about this book. It is still available through the school. It's called Threads of Useful Learning, Westtown School Samplers by Mary Oule Brooks. It is $60, can be purchased today, $60 plus shipping from the Westtown School. If you just like Google that, you can find it, or you go to Westtown School and it's in the bookstore.
Yeah.
So $60 for this. I almost bought it last night, and then I thought I'm going to hold back until Santa Claus comes, but I really want to get it because it archives every sampler of the 140 samplers that they have. It's in this book, and this Mary Brooks talks really in depth about all of them.
I just so admire your self-control,
My restraint.
your restraint. It's so
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
I know. Let's see. What else was I going to say? Westtown is also still in existence today, so it's still running.
Yeah.
Let's see. So of course there was other schools, Quaker schools. Nine Partners was a school in New York State that was very well known. It was open for only about 30 years and it's closed down. Clonmel is in Ireland. Montemellick is in Ireland. All of these schools were all did needlework. All the girls always did needlework in the schools. But the ones that are best known are Acworth and Westtown. So that's a little background on what Quakers are and where the schools and where it was coming from.
Did you say that one in Ireland is Montmellick?
Montmellick.
Now I want to go buy Yvette Stanton's Montmellick stitching book and see if that technique originated there or not.
Oh, really?
I
think I have a sampler that we're going to talk about that's from, I don't know, Montmellick, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, I know, interesting. Just filled with information. Okay, so.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, so there's 4 basic types of Quaker samplers that we can talk about. The thing that we need to think about in Quaker samplers is that a large portion of them are monochromatic, but monochromatic samplers does not mean automatically that they're Quaker, of course, and not all Quaker samplers are monochromatic. There are polychromatic samplers that are Quakers too, as well. Their overwhelming style, of course, is simplicity because that's one of their main ideals in Quaker religion is simplicity. Let's see. I guess that's about it. It's sometimes some of the polychromatic samplers, and we'll see this in some of the examples that we're going to show from our designers, are almost garish and really packed with like every usable amount of space was used. So it's, even though they say that they're simple, sometimes their samplers are like, whoa, like hit you in the face, garish. So anyways, we'll go back to the 4 different kinds of samplers. The first sampler, which we already discussed, was the medallion sampler. And of course that, I'll show it again, that looks like this. Okay. You will often see floral motifs along with animals with a center cartouche, which holds the name and the date and possibly sometimes the school of where the girl was. You often see a gift from, like VP to GP or whatever, written somewhere, sewn somewhere on the sampler. Usually the initials of the maker is on there, initials of the maker's family, or friends of the maker of the sampler will be on there. A lot of times date and school name is also written on there, or the county that they lived in is often written on there. But there are also examples where names, dates, nothing was written on there, just, the sampler. So that's medallion samplers. The next one is called a marking sampler, and these are, also like the marking samplers that we see in other type of schoolgirl samplers, but the marking samplers look like this, where they're just, stylized Romanesque alphabet. They're usually encircled by a cut corner. They call this cut corner, which is a diagonal corner, not rounded corner. The vines are usually either like little leaves or these, which they call half bells. This flower is called a half bell. Let's see. What else do I want to say of these?
So that's just basically practice for marking shirts and pants and those kinds of things.
Right.
Nothing more than that. Yeah.
Right. And this is an example of a sampler that is held in the Westtown collection. This was made in West, not reproduced. This is just a sampler.
Right.
Okay. So that's a marking sampler. So we all know what marking samplers are. The next sampler is a darning sampler. This, as you can see, is Westtown School. Again, not reproduced, just in their collection. Darning is, what you use for darning is for darning elbows of sleeves or clothes or socks or whatever. And this was useful household stitchery that every girl had to learn to be a wife and a mother and all of that. So darning samplers is another example of the Quaker sampler. And then you have what is called the extract sampler. All extract samplers have a ring around it, usually some sort of alphabet, but what is the extract is this verse or belief that they say. It usually shows what their beliefs are for their spirituality, domestic happiness, piety, social reform, and other things that are close to the Quaker heart and mind. So this is an example. This was from England. This one was from England. Okay, and is in a private collection. All right, so we have medallion, marking samplers, darning samplers, and extract samplers that are all constitute Quaker sampler types.
Yeah.
Now then, what we're going to start showing here, that's just, like your I learned a lot doing this, and I hope that other people learn a lot too, because when I first started this, I just thought all Quaker samplers were the medallion samplers. I didn't know anything.
What I thought, yeah. I didn't know.
So anyways, I really have learned a lot, and I would highly, for people that are interested and really don't know much more, I would highly suggest just Googling. And M. Finkel and Daughter has lovely articles about a lot of samplers, but particularly there's a lot about Quaker samplers. So I want to remind you that all these samplers that we saw here, not for sale, not included. They're not reproductions, first of all, so they're not included in the sale. And the samplers that we're going to show from now on, only the ones that we show, will be included in Kim's Sassy Jacks show. And you can again see that on the Fiber Talk website and in the drop down box under our video. So the first samplers that we're going to talk about is from Stitchybox. I want to thank Liz from Stitchybox for sending us the two samplers that we're getting ready to talk about. And do you want me to go or do you want to go?
Oh, you can go. I'll show the picture though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So Sarah Moon, 1791. This is a reproduction of Acworth School Sampler. It is a true reproduction. So that means every stitch is replicated, and the silks that Sarah stitched her sampler with were chosen. The colors were chosen based on the actual sampler that they reproduced. This was originally reproduced by needleprint, and Liz bought the rights. Liz of Stitchybox bought the rights to needleprint charts, and so she's producing these now. and making them available for us. So thank you, Liz. Sarah Moon, 1791. Again, you will see that 1791, this was just a decade after Acworth School was opened. It is a polychrome medallion sampler that includes flora and fauna. So you have squirrels, birds, and, like flowers. Her name, S. Moon, is in the middle with the cartouche around Acworth School 1791.
Yeah, I like the birds. I liked all the birds all the way through this thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of gold, yellow pieces in there because this is obviously a picture of the original. It'd be
Right.
interesting to see what it stitched up. And then you'd want to look at your gold color, whatever you chose, to make sure it stood out. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and this, boy, you talk about packed. This
Yeah,
thing
this one's packed.
it's full. Yeah.
It also has sprinklings of alphabets, and you can see on there in the upper, what is that? Would be left-hand corner is MP and NP. Those are believed to be her friends at school. I like this sampler. Overall, if you look at it, it's very balanced. It's not like wonky donkey like some of them can be. It's very balanced.
That's
One
a
of the earliest
sampler technical term, wonky
wonky
donkey. Yeah.
donkey.
Hmm.
It's one of the earliest known Acworth samplers that they have in their collection.
And not really huge either. 271 by 308, so
No,
not a giant one. Yeah. No, I like
Mm-mm.
that one.
I do too. I really
Yeah.
do like this one too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Next one. Do you want
Yep.
me to do this?
Go ahead. It's fine.
Okay. I feel like I'm just talking a lot.
Oh, but you're doing such a great job.
Okay. Hannah Gilpin, 1800 sampler. It is a reproduction from Acworth School again. Hannah, so this was just like 9 years after Sarah's sampler. And it's a reproduction again, full reproduction. Hers is a monochromatic medallion style sampler. You will notice that there are no birds or animals at all in this sampler. It is all just medallions, half medallions. There is no central cartouche. And her full name, in Acworth School 1800, is central to the design. And what I like about this one is I feel like Hannah is also very symmetrical in her stitching. It's packed in there too, but I like her alphabet that she's done around the outside. And if you see like A, B, C, D, E, F, those are all very like around the outside, but then you get down there to G, H, I, J, K, and she's like kind of,
Yep.
shoved them in there.
Yep.
I really like this sampler too. And it, again, it's all, I say it's monochromatic, and I guess it is, but if you look very close, it is different shades of brown. And it is also charted. Also not very big. I mean, not
Yeah.
very
Let me
big.
see. Yeah, she's got. Just looking here at the colors, she's got 5 different colors working in this thing.
Right.
But
And
I
it's
didn't
all
look at.
DMC. It's
Yeah.
that's another thing that you need to note on this is that Sarah Moon stitched hers in silk, but I believe that Hannah Gilpin's hers was stitched in cotton. Again, this was originally reproduced by needleprint.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hannah Gilpin is done in DMC.
Right. Of the two, it's interesting your comments about it because they were exactly mine. And this is the one of the 2 that I would stitch.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, but it's because of the alphabet, and I love the way she did the alphabet upside down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Crammed in there and upside down, wherever it fits, because it just speaks to the little girl to me.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like this one a lot better. And but I would play with it. See, I would take that and change a lot of them to make it more colorful.
Oh, you would do
Yeah,
color in yours?
yeah. I think this one. I think because of all the flowers. See,
Mm.
I'd want all the flowers to have some color. So yeah, I think this one. I wouldn't do a straight reproduction. I would start to find colors for the flowers.
See, now I like it in these browns. I think that that's one of the things that is appealing to me is that it's in those browns.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
No.
it's appealing, but it
Yeah.
is appealing to me.
But without a doubt, this is the one I would stitch of the two. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'd stitch all of them. Okay,
Yeah.
now
Well,
then, if I
of
had
course you
time.
would.
Okay, so that's all we have to show from Stitchybox. So what I'm going to say next is not included in the sale at Sassy Jack's, but I want you to notice. I want to talk about it. We might talk about these more in depth on Friday night. But anyways, Sara Wapole, 1810, is a reproduction, a monochrome marking sampler from Montemelic School in Ireland. See, I knew I had one from Montemelic
Yep,
School.
you did.
Okay, Sara Wapole.
You're amazing.
I know, right? So all of these, you can see these on Stitchybox website. Sarah Davis, 1824. She has a reproduction. It's a polychrome marking sampler. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. I would suggest you go look at that. She's from Clonmel School in Ireland. Then longtime stitchers and sampler lovers will know that Beatrix Potter's samplers. She had the first one was done by needleprint, and it's known as the Beatrix Potter Quaker. And then there's a second one that is known as the Beatrix Potter Companion Quaker. Now then, people think that Beatrix Potter, we're talking about the author that did those rabbits and the bunny, those children's books. She lived in England. She didn't stitch them. She wasn't a Quaker. She didn't stitch them. But she was a huge collector of needlework, an avid needleworker, I believe herself, and she collected needlework. So the Beatrix Potter Quaker and the companion to the Beatrix Potter Quaker are monochromatic medallion samplers, also available through Stitchybox or
Yep.
your local needlework store. And then Acworth School Motive Pattern Book. This is a pattern book similar to like the ones that we saw in at the Sassy Jack's Bristol Sampler Weekend, Gary. It's a pattern book
Yeah.
that has a lot of medallions that were at the school, and it's all compiled in a spiral bound book that you can purchase and make your own Quaker sampler that's
There we
common
go.
to you.
There we go.
So
Yep.
there you go. I want to thank Liz for Stitchybox for sending us the Sarah Moon and Hannah Gilpin samplers
Yep.
to show our audience.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Those I
Yeah.
like those. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Then the next one comes from Sassy Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
From Kim at Sassy Jack's, and this is the AC Bluebird Quaker sampler. And Kim's sampler reproduction label is Sassafras Samplers. So whenever you see Sassafras Samplers and this look, this blue frame look, then that's from Sassy Jack's. That's Kim's reproduction brand. And this one was reproduced. I don't know how many, but this one was reproduced by Allie Dudley. And Allie worked at the shop. I met her, a year and a half ago, worked at the shop quite a bit, and then she's moved away and has been doing some reproduction work for Kim. And she will be an upcoming guest, going to record with her and learn about her, because she is branching out into other areas of textiles to the point where she's going to move to a farm where she will grow flax and harvest it and treat it, and actually because Allie is a weaver. Allie does weaving, and so she's going to actually weave cloth out of this on this farm. So then what she's been doing for Kim is reproducing these samplers under the Sassafras name, and now she's going to go back in time and actually make the grow the flax and make the linen. So that's going to be fun to talk to her about that. But this one obviously a medallion sampler, but not exclusively. I mean, there's medallions and then other motifs in there, some flowers and other things. Those I like those little the little fork-like things here. They look like forks to me. They're probably flowers, but um, I just think that's neat. And then this bird down here, I like that one. That's neat. Um, if I were doing this one, on the right side here, see it where it gets really light. I would probably change those colors. I feel like it needs, with the left here having the darker colors, then I would not do a true reproduction, but I would darken those up to put some balance to it. But then we saw when we were at Sassy Jack's. Oh, I was going to write down her name. We did a little video of
Yeah.
a lady who did this one, and even straight up, it was really beautiful. When it's it's like everything. The picture and reality are different. But yeah, I keep wanting to put something dark over on that side, so I would probably change one or two of those. But really nice sampler. It's and the letters upside down on the bottom. Yeah, go. Good for the
Yeah.
girls. Yep. So
Right.
that's the AC Bluebird Quaker sampler from Sassafras Samplers, and of course thanks to Kim for sending that. Okay.
Right. Okay. Do we want to mention that the AC Bluebird, she doesn't, it's unsigned and it's
Right.
undated.
Yeah.
And they think that, or Kim believes that it has ties with Acworth School, but she can't verify that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember her talking about it while we were
Yeah.
there. That's the only reason why I'm butting in. Okay, so
That's
the
quite all
next
right.
thing.
But I don't think we want to mention that.
Oh, we
No.
don't? Okay. Okay. So the next one that we're going to talk about, the design house, is Queenstown Sampler Designs by Barbara Hudson. And I have exchanged emails with Barbara, and then I was in on the last talk that Gary had with Barbara here on Fiber Talk, and what a wealth of information she is. I know that Gary's like in love with her, but and I don't.
I think she's the best. Now I haven't met everybody who's a sampler expert by a long shot, but I'll tell you what, you talk to her and the information and history just spill out of her. It's
I
so much
know,
fun. Yeah.
and it's she gets me fired up about even want to look at samplers or buy books about samplers or whatever. And about every book that she mentioned the last time that we talked to her, I wrote down, and I have it on like this master list of things that I want to purchase someday. But anyways, okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about is Sara Comfort, and you have that on the screen, right?
I do.
Okay, so Sara's Comfort 1810. I guess now let's talk about this. If you look at that, what do you see? Just from what we've learned already, you see that it's a marking sampler and it's monochromatic. This one is from Montgomery County in Pennsylvania, and it has 4 different types of alphabets. But what is unique about this one is that she has her full name, age, and date in the center, but she also has her family register printed at the bottom, and that's not and in full names. So it has Ezra and Margaret Comfort, and then her sisters and brother, Grace, Jane, Anne, and John.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's nice.
One of the things that you will get with any of these Queenstown sampler designs, one of the things that you will get is an incredible history.
Yeah.
Barbara just packs in the history on these samplers. So like in the sheet, one of the pages that she gives the history of the meeting house, the Plymouth meeting place, and how it was partially burnt down because somebody had hot ashes in the cellar. I bet they were popular.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and then she gives the whole Comfort, the shoemaker Comfort family. She has that all charted out, so you can learn everything about this family, not just Sara Comfort, but the family. I mean, she just researches these things, uh, unbelievable. And anybody who's talked to her, and if you go listen to our shows with her, it just, like I said, it just spills out of her. She knows so much about the lineage of these families, where they came from, the whole bit. And um, Sarah's son James, head of household, had 20,000 acres of land, uh, and just all these little things that she has. 3 servants, 3 farm laborers, um, yeah, all kinds of little things. So that to me, these Queenstown samplers are so much fun just because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a document, a genealogy of this.
Yes,
I mean, and she is like, we'll have like another little thing that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But I mean, yeah, I enjoy that too, just to have the sampler, just to read what the genealogy is.
right.
Uh, Barbara told us that Sara Comfort is her best-selling Quaker design that she has.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, that's for a marking sampler, it has some life to it. I think they can
Yeah,
be.
it does.
I think they can be kind of boring, but this one isn't.
I really
Yeah.
like I really like this one. I have it pulled that I want to stitch it, and it's not. That's, and it's not that
Pardon
big.
me. Wait a minute. I'm having a moment of shock and surprise. Just a minute. Okay, I'm good now. Okay.
It's not very big. On 32 count, it's 8.5 by 12 1/4.
There you go. That's a little
That's not very
traveling
big.
sampler. That's just
That's
yeah.
right.
That's a little
I have
traveling
that knocked out
sampler.
tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah. So that's a great one. Yeah, good one.
That is a nice one. Okay, so our next one is Martha Pettit. Petite. What do you have?
Pettit.
Pettit.
No,
Pettit.
I would say pettit,
Pettit.
not petit. I would say pettit.
Okay.
right or wrong. I'd say pettit.
Pettit. Okay.
Yeah. Just because.
Okay. Martha P.
Oh, that's lame.
1804.
So you go with the lame Martha P. Okay. All right. Fine.
Okay, so this is a reproduction from Chester County, Pennsylvania, not associated with Weston School, I guess, because
Right.
it's not West Chester, Pennsylvania. It's just Chester County.
Right.
This is considered a spot motive sampler. So, that's another kind of the spot motive sampler or the medallion sampler. They're both kind of the same sort of thing. You notice there are no medallions on Martha's sampler, just her name central and the year that she stitched her sampler. It is important to note that this sampler was conserved. I guess like the family that she bought it from had taken care of it, had conservation mounted and all that. So the silks were unfaded, and the reproduction is exact to the original. So if you choose to stitch Martha, yours would be just like Martha's.
There
If
we
you
go.
stitch it like what Barbara charted. So
Yeah,
there
what
you go.
8.6 by 13 on 40 count. So that's
Yeah.
a nice size. This one and the next one from Queenstown. Kim has all the Queenstown sampler designs. She has the full
Yeah.
line. She has boxes. It's very tempting, boxes
Mhm.
of them.
Mhm.
But this one and the next one are for me. Yeah, I really like this one. I love these flowers. It's just it has a light, airy look to it, a delicacy to it. I really like this one a lot.
I like it too. I do too. I
Yeah,
I, I like all that Barbara sent us.
yeah,
I like all of them. I
and
really
then
like this next one.
yeah, and this one, when I look at it, I immediately think of your ornament tree, your sampler ornament tree,
Oh yeah.
because you can and actually you could pull any of those off and make all
Mhm.
kinds of needlework pieces, small pieces with any of them.
Right.
Because they're just so each one is so self-contained. I really think this is I just like this one a lot, and I
I
love
do too.
and I love the border. It's a simple nothing border, but
Mhm.
it holds it in and frames it and keeps everything contained and doesn't take away from the flowers because you could really take away from those beautiful flower arrangements with a an overdone border.
Right. And
Yeah.
see, I was wondering, and I don't believe that from what I read in her dissertation inside the chart, I was wondering, is that border unfinished? Because usually most Quaker samplers have like those little flowers, those little bell flowers, or just a simple leaf that goes around on those borders. And this has nothing. So I wonder if Martha was just like finished the inside and thought, screw it, I'm not doing the else. This border is done. I don't know. I wonder that if that. I mean, it's a complete sampler. I just wonder if she just got tired and thought, I'm not putting any leaves on that border. But I think because it's so simple, it just makes the inside just pop, just like slap you in the face.
Yeah.
I really do like it.
I'm going with Martha had a real eye and an artistic talent. And she didn't
was
want
an artist.
She did not want to detract from her flower arrangements with a heavy border.
Okay, that's good. That's cool with me.
I'm going with that. Yep.
Okay.
And one of the other things, Barbara, on all of hers, she charts them for DMC, but she also charts them for NPI silk. And I've been using that on my banding sampler. Oh, that NPI silk. I'm a fan. It's nice stuff. Yeah. And of course, with this one, the full history, all the lineage and everything with this. Yeah. I really like this one. It's a good one.
Right, I do too. I like it too.
Yep. So, and then there's this one.
I
know. Yes.
And this one is very, okay, so is it up on the screen?
Not yet, but it's going to be. I had to drool on it as I went by.
Oh, okay.
Now it is.
Okay. Yeah. So Ruth Passmore, 1804. This one, okay, so this one, I really like this. And I'll tell you why. Okay, so you will notice this is, you will notice that this is kind of unlike any Quaker sampler that we've seen so far. It's very colorful. It's kind of flamboyant a little bit, especially in the border. And I mean, it doesn't look like a Quaker sampler really, but it is a Quaker sampler because Barbara thoroughly researched it.
Because Barbara says, that's why.
Yeah, that's right. It's a reproduction from the Brandywine School in Wilmington, Delaware, which was a Quaker school. This would be a combination of a marking and an extract type sampler because of the alphabets, of course, at the top. And then the, oh, teach me my, what does it say? Oh, I have to read it. I read it earlier. Oh, teach my fowl the steady path of virtue to pursue, to shun each crime which moves thy wrath, each mean a selfish view. To vanity, the vice of fools, should my weak heart incline, to sacred virtue's purest rules, oh, add thy grace divine. Ruth Passmore's work, all of those initials at the bottom are her family, with the PP, the RP, EPP, and then the AM, RM, and SM is probably schoolmates.
Yep. This one has some size to it. 13 by 16 and a half on 40 count.
Yeah. And it also has it has satin stitch border.
Yeah,
inner border.
There's double herringbone, double running, eyelet, queen, rice, satin, straight, and tent stitch. All in that thing. So
right.
Yeah, if you just want to make X's, this is not for you. But I really like this one. I think it's beautiful. Yep.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I love it a lot.
Yep.
Okay.
That's big.
So
yep. It's a good one.
It is a good one.
Go Barbara.
All right. So I want to mention Barbara and some of what she has told me. She has a large backlog of Quaker reproductions and a lot of other kind of reproductions in her design house, Queenstown Samplers. Each chart is complete with family and historical notes. Here's a special note that only insiders are getting if you watch Fiber Talk. She will be releasing the Hannah Longstreth 1805 sampler at Nashville 2020. The original Hannah Longstreth 1805 sampler actually survived a fall into an actual fire. she survived it. The sampler survived it. So Hannah was absolutely wanting her sampler to make it to today. Another special note is Barbara has a personal connection. Oh, I also, if you're thinking, what will the Hannah look like? Hannah will look like it's larger and more densely stitched, but it'll be similar to Martha Pettit. Pettit. Okay, so
Pettit.
it's going to be similar in style and look to Martha, but Hannah, this is what really I was like, gosh, I cannot believe this. So Barbara has a personal connection to Hannah Longstreth because her grand niece is named Hannah Longstreth. She was born in 2001, and she is a direct descendant of the sampler that Barbara owns. Isn't that like wild?
Yeah.
Barbara's grandniece has a goal of becoming a doctor. So when she sells this sampler starting at Nashville, when she releases it, 100% of those proceeds of the sale of that sampler will go to her grandniece education fund. So isn't that wonderful? I'm definitely
fantastic.
buying it. Yeah.
Yep.
So
fantastic.
A big thank you to Barbara. I mean, she's just a phenomenal person. If y'all haven't listened to Fiber Talks interviews, there's several. How many? 2 or 3?
Did 2 with her so far. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to do some more
because I'll talk to her all day long. All day long.
Just a wealth of information, a fabulous lady. Thank you, Barbara, for sending us the samplers to show with our people that are watching us today.
Yeah, the most recent show we talked about American, North America. What it was non-European samplers.
Right.
And that was so fascinating to me to learn about, because we learned about Mexican samplers, Quakers, and a lot of the American samplers, and what we had, something from Italy and South America. It was, I mean, that's the kind of knowledge she has. It's just incredible. Yeah. All day long I'll talk to her. Yep.
Yeah, and she has such very collegiate, inspirational, like fiery connections in the industry, it's just just a great person
terrific
to listen
lady.
to.
Really terrific. Yep. Okay, so now we're moving on to the Ragamuffin sampler, and I was jockeying around the camera, so just a minute here, I'll back it off.
Okay.
So that people can see that from Teresa Vanette, Shakespeare's Peddler.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so this is called Ragamuffin 2. She has a Ragamuffin 1, and I don't know if that's a Quaker or not. Sorry, Teresa. I don't think it is, but I don't know. This is a reproduction, but it's really an adaptation of a marking and a spot motif, combined Quaker sampler. Teresa calls this a Ragamuffin sampler because it was in very poor shape when she got the original. She reproduced it as well as she could. It is dated, but the name of the maker was lost to antiquity. The only thing that she could make out of the name where it was LES. That was it. And so she doesn't know what the name of the maker was. Although it is reproduced as accurate as possible, Teresa says that she adapted places in the sampler, particularly across the top. The alphabet across the top is adapted because it was also lost. And she conferred with Pat Ryan from R&R Fabrics when she was reproducing or adapting this sampler. She encourages the stitcher, and you would read this if you get this pattern. She encourages the stitcher to make it their own, since it cannot be a full reproduction because so much of it was lost. But it is I like the colors that she chose for it. I think that it's as true to the original as she could make it in the colors. You can tell that the top alphabet, particularly the top one, was an adaptation. But she says that, since it's adaptation, you could actually put your name in the floral wreath in the center bottom of the spot motif sampler and do what you want to with it. What I like about it, what always has drawn my eye, is the border. look at the border. I find that I like it a lot. How it's just kind of a bunch of like
Yeah.
triangles almost like.
Yeah, it's just a real delicate,
Mm-hmm.
real delicate look. Yeah, I love the description she wrote. The sampler itself is remarkably clean. In fact, it's a little too clean. And I think the alphabets up top fell out the last time this sampler was framed. Someone thought they'd clean her up a bit. Those black alphabets are stitched with thread that's delicate due to the ingredients used to make the dye. So I bet those alphabets just fell out in the water. I can only
Mm-hmm.
imagine how horrified someone must have been when that happened. Yeah, can you imagine that? Antique sampler, you think you'll clean it up, and
Yeah.
that's a classic. Classic. If you don't know what you're
Oops.
doing, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's it. A lot of those old dyes, uh, long term, just destroyed threads. So you got to be
Mm-hmm.
careful. Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you don't know what you're doing, don't know what's in them, that's where your conservator comes in. They know about that stuff. Yeah,
Right.
but
I've
I
actually,
love the bottom though.
I do too. I like the soft colors of this
Yep.
one. I've actually seen this. I have a friend that stitched it, and it is, again, how many times have we seen this? The picture doesn't do the piece justice,
No,
and it doesn't.
I'm
It is
sure not.
beautiful stitched. It really is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there you
those
go.
and yeah, I should caution everybody. The colors you're seeing here, the light I'm using on it is rather cold light, so it's chilling out some of the colors, but just beautiful. Those little stars,
Yeah.
those little stars right there.
Yeah. They almost look like pinwheels.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the two that stand out for me. I'd want to just lift those out and put them on something by themselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is one of those. Teresa has a really good eye for finding
Yeah.
interesting, and or creating interesting samplers.
Yeah. Just one of the, I feel like she's one of the great designers. I mean, I really do.
Yeah,
She's passionate, and I just really like Teresa a lot.
yep.
So
So that's a good
there
one.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Okay, so the next three that we're going to show is from the Scarlet Letter, and Teresa actually sent this from for us to show because she was very passionate about the Scarlet Letter, and Marcia Parker, who is the owner of the Scarlet Letter, has a wide berth of samplers in her design house, but she has actually over 30 Quaker samplers that she has reproduced. So the first one that I'm going to show is it's actually in my own stash. So Gary, sorry, you won't have this one. But this one is Dorothy Wapole, and someone contacted me this summer when we first announced that we were going to do a Quaker uh, show, and told me that for 2020, I believe, there's a Dorothy Wapole stitch along on Facebook. I'm certain that you can just Google that. Or if you're the person that is leading the sampler, whatever, leave a comment on this video and we'll try to get that information along. I'm sorry. I lost your email, but I do remember reading it. So, anyways, Dorothy Wapole. Uh, this is also from, if I'm not mistaken, it's from Ireland. Let's see, New Garden. Dorothy Walpole was in New Garden in the Painstown parish of Carlow, Ireland. On
Mm.
August 25th, she married Christopher Williams. Another thing I'd like to mention about this, Marcia Parker is also very, very in-depth genealogy for all of her samplers too. And anyway, so this is a very pretty sampler. Dorothy Walpole, very well known one for, I mean, this has been stitched over and over and over for years and years and years by people. Very, very highly recognizable Quaker. Okay, so the next one is Anne Grimshaw. Oh, I've always wanted to stitch this one, Gary.
What's holding you back?
I don't know. It's big. Anyways, okay, so Anne Grimshaw, here it is. Another one that people will recognize the name because another one that has been stitched and stitched and stitched. In fact, there's a person on Instagram that just posted her finish like yesterday. But anyways, there it is, Anne Grimshaw. It is a medallion sampler along with course of a marking sampler. What's interesting to note about this is that it was reproduced with permission from the Philadelphia Museum of Art, and the museum receives royalty from Marcia after every purchase of this chart. It's what do you say about it? It's monochromatic. It's from the Acworth School in North Yorkshire, England, but somehow it got over here because it's in the Philadelphia Museum now. And, she has her long history of Anne and where she was and how she came here and all of that. So monochromatic. Well, I wonder what color this is stitched in. Excuse me while I look really quick. Black.
Well, that's original.
Yeah, black. Black. That's what it's stitched in. Okay, so Anne Grimshaw. Lovely.
Yep. Then the third one is Heaven is My Hope. And this American sampler, of the three, this is the one that speaks to me.
Yeah, I know. That's why I sent that one to you.
I figured that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get that centered. There. I just, this one I like a lot. I like the border and the building, that whole scene there. That's this one just really is creative all the way around. It's a double border as you study it. You got that kind of Roman whatever, I don't know if it's Roman geometric thing, and then an inner border, vine border with flowers on it. And then the scene. Have no idea what that building is, but I just like it. It's nice.
I think it's reminiscent, which this has nothing to do with Quakers, but the one that Nicola released when we were down at the Bristol weekend, it looks very similar to that one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Nice little verse there. Let no fond love for the earth exact a sigh. I won't read it all, but anyway, that's a nice, but unsigned, Mid-Atlantic States, 1820. But that one, of the three, that one really stands out to me. Really like that. Good one.
Me too.
And she has an interesting approach. I had not seen this, but when her designs they come on these big sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So you get here. Let me go to just me. So you get these big sheets, two or three of them, that show the whole design, or a big portion of the design. So you don't get individual pages, which could be a real plus in terms of going from page to page. But that's each of them is like that. There's three of them, and I'll move it around so nobody can steal it. But yeah, so you get these. You can see it's quite large, 11 by 17, or maybe even bigger than that. Three sheets on heavier paper, so that's nice. And then on the back, then she gives information on how to stitch. So this is self-contained. So anybody who's never done this could dig right in. Information about how to stitch, how to do the various components, all the way through. So it's a pretty thorough trifold cover that goes around the charts, and then you can see for the ones that might be more difficult, she's got close-ups. So it's very well done all the way around. And DMC and silk charted for silk and doesn't say what silk it is. But yeah, I don't know. She must have a standard silk. I don't know her charts that well. But yeah, it's a very different approach, different presentation, but I think very effective. And certainly anybody who's never done one of these could pick this up and have at it and have success with it. So that's a good thing. Yep.
Now, both of my charts are books.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Just a minute. Yeah. Maybe that was,
Earlier one or
wait,
something.
an earlier one or one that she felt like it was better presented like
Yeah.
in that format. So,
Yeah. But I'd not seen that. So that's different. Yep.
yeah.
A good
All
one.
right. So, again, another big thank you to Teresa Vanette of the Kitten Stitcher for sending
Yes.
Gary and I her own design house chart, Ragamuffin 2, and then, of course, the Quaker samplers from the Scarlet Letters for our show. Thanks, Teresa, so much. So that concludes all of the reproduction part of samplers that we chose. Now, we're going to do, these are all Quaker inspired or original designs. So it's important to note what is a reproduction and what is not a reproduction. And what we're going to show next are modern Quakers that are inspired by antique Quakers, are just dreamed up by designers,
Yeah.
or whatever. They are not
Right.
reproductions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the first now to me, the queen of these inspired samplers is Karen Kluba of Rosewood Manor. I'm a huge fan of Karen Kluba. I'll say it all day long. I just love her work, all of her work. If you ever get a chance to see her booth at a show, her catalog is just vast.
Yeah,
But
it is.
but what she does with the Quaker approach, I tell you, I just really think it's special stuff. And a lot of them, she'll use the Valdani threads, so
Mm-hmm.
you can see in the here. I'll zoom in. You can see you buy the kit, or you buy the Valdani threads all together. So you buy a box with those to go with her sampler, but with her different samplers. But I just think what she does with those things is so creative, and the way she uses the colors is just so beautiful. I'm just such a fan of her work in general, and particularly her samplers. I just think they're special.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Which one are you showing? Are you
that's the
showing?
Quake. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Quaker Diamonds. Here's the first one I'm showing.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry,
I
you can't
actually have a start on that I brought to share.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then share your butt off. Let's go.
Here it is.
Look at
This
you.
is all I've
See,
got.
see how beautiful that is. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that is with the Valdani threads on the recommended fabric, which is doubloon.
Yep.
Picture this plus doubloon.
See, she just has such a talent for putting that stuff together. Now that Valdani thread, that pleasant to stitch with, that's cotton, right?
Mm-hmm. It's cotton over dyed. It is pleasant to stitch with. You have to stitch on a higher count because it's just a single strand. You would
Yeah.
like it, Gary, but it has to be on 28 count or
Uh-huh.
32 count for it to work, so it won't be so bunchy.
Yeah.
I don't know what count this is. It looks like it's probably 28,
Mm-hmm.
but I bought it as a kit.
Yeah, I think generally that's if you do her Quakers with the Valdani thread, it basically you buy a kit. You buy
Yeah.
the ground cloth you can switch out, but the Valdani threads are put together. The package is put
Yeah.
together with the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, this is absolutely one of my favorite samplers.
Yeah. And her charts, I mean, her charts are just beautifully
Beautiful.
done.
Yeah.
She's just so good. I just really like her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I know you do.
Pardon me while I just gush a little bit, but I do. I just
Okay.
think she's a tremendous lady, and her designs, her eye, just really speak to me. I just think they're fantastic.
I do too. I like her too. I really like that. Have you ever seen that? Well, you've seen her booth, so you've seen the
Right.
diamonds done then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Quaker Diamonds.
Yeah.
I just think it is a fantastic. I love, and I don't know why I haven't just, I've got it up here now. I might start stitching on it again. It is beautiful. It is
Yeah.
beautiful finished. I have seen it. I have probably 3 friends that has finished it, and I have seen it, and it is gorgeous.
Yeah. She's just one of the true talents.
Yep.
Just and yeah. The next one is Quaker Compass. And let me get that. This is also from Karen, Quaker Compass, another one of hers. And now this one, really a huge central compass motif there, and then surrounded with all kinds of things. And those colors are not too far off. That's not too far off of the picture. I don't know what the actual colors are, but
they are DMC 924, 926, 927, 928, and 3768. So they're actually, they look kind of like gray in the picture, but that is blue. Those
yeah,
are blues, like
yeah.
icy blues.
Icy blues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that speaks to me right there because I love the blues.
Oh, yeah, you do love blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, 924 is a beautiful color.
Yep. But she just, again, I just think she really, with a compass theme, some acorns in there, yeah, go Karen.
I chose this one when I was talking to Karen. I chose this one before you because I thought this looked like you, something that you would like.
Well,
I
yeah,
thought,
yeah.
I
No,
mean, I thought it was kind of manly, not
yeah,
girly, frou-frou, and
yep. Well, I would agree with you. Yeah, this really is very attractive to me.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, really like, yep. How big is this thing here?
It's probably pretty big. Karen does pretty
Yeah,
big
yeah.
stuff.
She doesn't know small. She has no idea what small is. Cause she just did something small recently, and it was like shocking. Where is the?
298 by 198.
Yeah, not too bad.
No,
Yeah,
hers is stitched on 35 count.
that's not bad.
Mm-mm.
Quite tolerable. Great charts, well designed, really well done. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
big fan. I said that before. Then
Yep.
this one, now this one is Winter Quakers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll go to the
One screen. This one, I'm going to tell you what. When this one came out, I was like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you, this is the first Quaker I ever saw, Quaker design I ever saw. Donna, who works at Welcome Stitchery, which is my local needlework store close by, Donna is extremely talented cross stitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And she finished this one and had it framed in a kind of a silvery frame. And it's hanging in the store, at least it was. I haven't been there in a while, but at least it was. Of all the stuff in the store, and the store is just packed with things, I just zeroed right in on this one. This is just gorgeous. Just these icy colors. It's just beautiful.
Well, again, it's in the blues.
Yep.
So that's why you like it too, I think.
Oh, I think so. I'll admit. But there's your Valdani thread kit. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they get them in the box like that. That's the way it comes. You buy the chart, and then any store that sells the chart then will have the Valdani box that goes with it. So yeah, which is great. It's just bang, there you are, your whole kit. But look
Yeah.
at
Have you
that.
ever stitched with Valdani threads?
No, that's why I asked you what it
I
was like.
like them. I
Yeah,
really do like them. They're very nice.
yeah. But look at there. And there's some Christmas tree ornaments right there. You can see them.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yep. I mean, there's
Even on a regular.
yeah, every one of them. Every one of
Yeah.
them. Yep. Beautiful ornaments. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Once again, just really, really good stuff from Karen.
Yeah.
And then
And
she has, I mean, these, and then her sunrise, sunset designs, all kinds of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she has tons and tons and tons. One that I stitched and I got halfway done with it and then I lost all was it was a quilt. She actually made it off of a quilt and it's like on yellow fabric. I can't remember what the name of it was, but I have that one and it is absolutely gorgeous. But it
Yeah.
is a lot of back stitching.
Yeah. Now, take for instance, this is the 2013 list of Karen Kluba designs. That's
Mm-hmm.
2013, and I don't know how many she does a year, but it's not one or two.
Isn't
But
that crazy?
yeah, that's. I mean, we talk about a catalog of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I would challenge you to find anyone to find stuff that anything they didn't like. I mean, it's just I heard all of her designs. I just really enjoy them. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Okay, and I am president of the Karen Kluba fan club, and membership is only $50 a year. And no,
I was going to say, really? She has a fan club?
I'm creating it.
Gosh.
I'm creating it right now.
Oh.
Never mind.
I'm
Never mind.
so gullible.
Yeah, I had you sucked right in there.
Yeah, it's
No,
like, oh, really? I didn't know that.
no. Sorry.
That's all right.
Faked you out. Okay, now long dog samplers.
Julia Line.
Yes. Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, Moulin Rouge. Do you have that one up?
I have it up now.
Okay, so I like this one. It's not my favorite one. My favorite one's going to be next, but this one, and they're huge, 364 by 364. But I'm going to have to dare to say that as a modern designer of Quaker style samplers, I think that Long Dog Samplers hits it out of the park, in my opinion, because that looks very much like an antique Quaker sampler.
Yeah.
And she does her samplers, all of her Quakers, I believe, are in red because she has several, like 8, I think, of them. But anyways, Long Dog Samplers, Moulin Rouge. What do you say about this one? I love this one. I love that it's all of Julia's samplers are always very symmetrical and precise and clean, and that appeals to me, and this one appeals to me. I
Packed.
just
Packed to the gills.
yeah,
Yeah.
very stitch dense. Have you
Yep.
ever seen one of these stitched in real
Yes.
life?
Yes.
Isn't it? They're
They're gorgeous.
stunning.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just gorgeous. Yep. Yeah, and you look at it and you
Yeah.
think, oh man, that's a
Oh
lot of
my
stitching,
God.
but oh, is it?
Yeah, it makes you want to stitch it
Yep.
though. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, each one like tells the story. Not even the Quakers, not only the Quakers, but all of her other designs tell a story about things that maybe I don't want to hear a story about, but I have this urge to stitch them. Every one of them. I mean, every one of her everyone. I can just sit and look at her samplers and think, oh yeah, I could stitch that one. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it might not even be a subject matter or a theme that I even like would say I like, but yeah, I love this Moulin Rouge. But every time I think about it, every time I say Moulin Rouge, I think of that song that, oh, what is that? Kitschy kitschy ya ya. What is that song? This is Moulin Rouge, isn't it? Who sang that?
Um, was that the Pointer Sisters?
I don't know. And
Oh,
then
I
they
don't
had
know.
a redo of it, and one of the singers was Christina Aguilera. But
Mm.
anyways, every time I say that, I see this sampler or say Moulin Rouge, I think of that song.
Now you're going to get that tune stuck in my head. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And no charge, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no charge.
Okay.
But if
So
you
that's.
look at this,
Whoop.
look at
Sorry.
that before you take it away.
Too
Look at
late.
that oh, okay. On the
No, it's
left hand
back. It's
side,
back.
on the left hand side, look at that on the sideways one. Look, there's a little house and a windmill. Do you see that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's just like, see, every time I look at her samplers, I had never even seen that until just now.
Yeah.
I just love, she's very talented. I love that one. Okay.
Yep.
Next.
Oh, now I can move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
So kind of you.
I know. I'm the director of this show today.
That's right. Okay, Scarlet
Ribbons.
Ribbon.
Ribands,
Ribands.
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 I don't know.
I don't know.
We suck at this kind of talk.
Yeah, well.
Whatever. Okay.
Yep.
This is one of my favorite ones.
This is on the top of your list.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that's just it. You can look at this. You could probably look at this 30 times
And see something new every
Yep.
time.
Yep.
That's what I like about her samplers. I mean, but boy, this sucker is, I mean, it's not as big as the Mouline Rouge, but it is just stitch dense.
314 by 321. Yeah, what, 40,000 stitches. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get your thread out. But an easy
Yeah.
purchase on thread. Just buy a whole bunch of skeins of whatever color you like.
Yeah, just buy a cone.
Yeah,
cone of something.
basically. I think that's really where you go. You just get a cone. Yeah. Yeah.
Gorgeous. They have she has like a little, on the right-hand side top, like a third down, a little like that lion, a little tiny lion.
Mm-hmm.
And then another windmill on the left-hand side. I just love this. And the words, practice makes perfect, make much of time flies, love conquers all. I just love this sampler.
Yep. Yeah. And and these, another classic example of pulling various motifs out and just having them sit by themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay.
Okay,
now,
and then
the token.
The token. Julia sent this one. I didn't ask for this one. She sent it just because, and the reason she sent it was because this one is only 200 by 235, and it's very popular, she says, with people that want to stitch something but doesn't have to sign 3 years of their life away. And again, this one has a very antique flair to it. I really like it. It has that little horn vase with the flowers coming out the top, which is popular in the Acworth samplers.
Yeah, this right here, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
A token of love, which is also.
You'd think I'd get a classier pointer than my finger, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, whatever.
Whoops. Here, I think I have something that's a little classier than my finger. Look at that right there. Whoops.
Oh, nice.
Oh, now we bored Vanna to tears.
Oh, no, I tell you what, Gary, I've been working on this show for
Yeah, you were up early this morning. I was getting on my bike and you were already texting. Well, and I was up, 4 o'clock because I couldn't sleep, so I got up to get on my bike, and you were already texting. Yep.
I know.
But look at that right there, that flower right there, which you can't see, but it's the one that's right above the initial motif.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's the one I figured it was.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. This would be another one that you could pull out samplers if you were, just pieces to do for an ornament tree.
Yep.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Yep. Julia, I just want to thank you for, sending these. They're gorgeous. Check out Long Donk Samplers. She has 6 more Quakers. One is actually a birth sampler. If I have a grandchild someday, and that's appealing to me to have, instead of having cutesy, bootsy, teddy bears and stuff like that, for a grandchild, to make something that's something that they can hang on their wall when they're 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she has a birth sampler that's a Quaker, and she has, all those other ones, Death by Cross Stitch, Life After Death, all of those huge, great big samplers, monochrome samplers, beautiful, gorgeous. I can sit and look at them and see something new every time. Gorgeous. Thank you so much, Julia.
Yep.
All right. So our last.
Yeah.
How long have we been going? For last.
Hour and a half already. Yeah. Sorry, folks.
People have been waiting for a long time.
So that's how we do it. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Modern Folk Embroidery by Jacob de Graaf.
Yep. Coming up.
Jacob, I love him. And he was very generous in sending all that he sent for us to share with y'all.
Yeah, he has so many.
Yeah. And again, somebody that if you didn't really know, you'd think it was an antique, because he's a very collegiate type person, and the fact that he studies things, he's always looking on, finding stuff in junk stores and antique stores and things like that. This very first one is an Irish sampler. Do you have it up?
I do. An
Okay, so
Irish
the
Quaker
Irish
sampler.
sampler,
Yep.
yeah. And it is based on an original sampler that he found in an antique shop, I believe, but a lot of it was lost. So she did not sign her date nor finish her sampler, and he finished it for her, basically. So this is not, so it's not a reproduction. It's really not even an adaptation. It's just Jacob's own take on an Irish Quaker sampler that he has in his collection. And I mean, it's beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, he's another one. Karen Kluba, Jacob, both just really an eye for this kind of thing.
We really have outstanding lineup, I feel
Yeah.
like, for this show.
Yeah.
So
I just love Jacob's work. I really do.
I do too.
All of
It
it.
just speaks. Yeah, it speaks to me. And what a nice man he is. And if you watched our fiber talk with him, or listened to our fiber talk with him earlier in the year, he spoke very in depth about the Quaker samplers that he owns or he has designed, and he truly lives his life. He's not a Quaker, or I don't think he is, but he truly lives his life kind of in the Quaker style of kindness and simplicity. And he is. There's just not, Jacob, I love you. There's just no other way to put it. But anyways, okay. So the next one.
And Vanna is president of the Jacob DeGraff fan club.
I really, not a nicer man besides you, Gary.
Oh, be careful.
Just two of a kind.
Be careful.
Okay. So kindness and fortitude.
Yep.
Now, a lot of Jacobs go, like this, he has shown in blue, but I mean, you could, blue's your favorite color, not my favorite color. So I could stitch it in red or whatever. But again, it's balanced. It's reminiscent of an antique sampler. It's very pretty. Kindness and fortitude was one of the, tenets of the Quaker faith. Jacob put some lovely, talk about it on the back of all of Jacob's charts are really nicely put together. Written, just very nice, very clear to read, very nicely laid out. Has commentary on the back. We can probably go through quickly some of these because he sent a lot. Yeah. So the next one is
Kim has, you can get Jacobs at his website, but Kim has his entire line. She's the only one in the States, or maybe there's someone else in the States, but yeah, she carries this full line. So you can call her and get the chart and the kit all together. She has the whole deal.
Right.
And if you're in the shop, there's a whole turntable rack with them. Yes.
Right.
Okay, this one is Love and Unity.
Right. Red. Again, lots of birds, lots of flora and fauna, the medallion samplers.
See, I would that love, the love one down at the bottom. See, I would pull that out and put that on like a flat fold or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make it for Marga for Valentine's Day.
I could. Yeah. Because I need to start more things that aren't getting done.
Yeah, right. Me too.
So I'll add that to the package. Yeah. But yeah, there's Love and Unity. And then we have Eleanor Stickney, Love, Peace, and Tenderness.
Yeah. This is he just made this up, I believe. It's kind of based on a real person, but it's not her sampler.
Right. Yeah.
Beautiful.
But again, that's a simple little one.
Quick would be quick.
Not real big, is it?
No.
What is that?
It's like 5 by 7, I think, when you get it finished.
Yeah, simple. Yeah, so that's a good quick one. Good traveling one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have the Little Bird Quaker sampler.
I love this one too.
You can
really do like this.
You can tell we're fans of Jacob's work because I got a whole bunch of them here.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Again, just a real eye, real nice technique
Mm-hmm.
for putting these together, and he cranks them out like a machine.
Yeah, boy, he does.
Yeah, if you want to do his 2020 stitch along, ooh, that's a good one.
Guess who bought it today?
That would be Vanna Pfeiffer.
That is right. That is
Now
right.
this one, two Quaker Sisters. This one, of all of these that we have from him, this is the one for me.
Okay, it is for me too. Do you want to know why?
I do.
You can put both of those on together on a band.
Yes.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a debate whether to put both of them on a band or
Or
to
one.
do two on each on a band.
Yeah. Because
But
they're
either
only
way,
71 inches wide.
yep. 71 stitches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
71 stitches, not
Because
inches.
see, on the band that I'm doing right now, is the width that I've defined is 102, and that's a 5-inch width, 5-inch width band, and I'm doing 102 stitches across. So you could go down to like a 4-inch band and fill it up, and you'd have two really nice ones or one nice long one. But either way,
Yep.
Yeah, this one, yep, yep. This is going to be in mind when we when we are next at Sassy Jack's, or when I buy banding separate from that, because yeah, this one's right at the top of the list. Really
Yeah, it's
like that.
nice.
Yep,
I do too.
good one.
Awesome.
Let's see what we have next. We have Peace to My Friend. Peace to My Friend. That's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the alphabet in the third row. The E, T, F,
Oh,
T.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that. Very
Yeah, I
nice.
do too. I didn't see that until you pointed out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very
different.
nice.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say? It's gorgeous.
Yep.
That's another one. And then the last one here it is. He sent us the Quaker bird in a grapevine, and this would be perfect for a little ornament.
There. Yeah. Here I got it on the
Okay.
bird in a grapevine. Yeah.
For your sampler tree.
Yep. That's a good one there. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, you have that's the one you have, right?
Yep.
Yep. So that's it.
That is it.
That's a truckload.
It is a truckload, and it. I know that's a lot of information. Maybe we should preface this with you should have had a notebook and a pen to write all this stuff down. But I would like to say again, thank you, Jacob. He basically sent his entire repertoire of Quaker samplers for us to share with you. So thank you for your very generous sending of that. Look into Jacob's 2020 sampler stitch along. That's only available on his website. It went up today, didn't it?
I
I
believe
thought it
that's
was
right.
today. For his his stitch along for 2020. So, and then I also have people that I need to thank for time that they spent with me and in help, giving me some information about Quakers. So, in researching for this show, I used several sources and emailed with some sampler experts in the industry. Now then, if I have said something that is not right or is wrong or somebody thinks it's wrong, I'm sorry. Look at my hair. I have really I have frazzled myself. I told Gary I was going to go buy a pack of cigarettes today. I was so nervous about this show. And I don't smoke. But anyways, I'd like to personally thank Barbara Hudson, Ellen Chester, Claudia Dutcher Kistler, and Teresa Vanette for speaking to me and giving me some hints and tips about where to find Quaker information or about Quaker samplers or the history about Quaker samplers. So thank you very much, ladies. And then I also would like you to know, and you can do this yourself, is I cross-referenced many books when I was collecting this information and websites. And I'd like to cite that the information that I spoke about today was found from the Acworth School website, the Weston School and Westchester Historical Society website, M. Finkel and Daughter, they are auctioneers of antique needlework samplers, but they also publish a magazine article type stuff, and you can find them just on the internet. And so I read a lot of M. Finkel and daughter documents, and then Mary Uhl Brooks and the Nordic Neat, who wrote that Weston Samplers, the Useful Thread, and then the Nordic Needle Save the Stitches series that they have on their website. It has a lot of information about a wide range of topics on antique samplers, and I used a little bit of their talk. I mean, I cross-referenced them on the Quaker Samplers section. So thank you very much to everybody that has put that information out on the website for people like me to look at and learn and grow, so that I could bring it here for us to learn and grow.
Yep.
So there you go.
Well, and thank you, because it's been a healthy 2+ months since we did one of these, and part of that's just lack of time on my end, but what we wanted to do with this is what we just did, and you can see that took a tremendous amount of effort, and it was all on you. You did it all, so appreciate it.
Well, I was happy to do it. You put what I did today is just a drop in the bucket to what you do all the time.
Well,
and so thank you too, and hope maybe someday soon, not anytime soon, I'll do something else to help you out, but not now.
not now.
Not now, and not in the next couple of weeks.
So thanks to everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember now, Sassy Jacks through December 31, fiber 15, and you get the discount, 15% discount. You can call in too, but basically use that. You got to use that code so that they know that you watched the show.
Right.
So 15% off on the kit, or if you own the chart or Kim doesn't have that particular chart, ground cloth and threads, you can get 15% off of that. Very generous of Kim to do that for all of these that we did, talked about, showed, and we'll list those so that there'll be no question about which ones are available.
Right.
And that's it.
That's it. Whew, I'm going to go have a beer.
You don't smoke, but you do drink.
And tell dirty jokes.
Yeah, that. No. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.